Hangtime is presented by Lawrence Technological University, where Blue Devils dare. Also in partnership with the Indiana High School Athletic Association.
Hi, and welcome to another edition of State Champs Hangtime Indiana. I'm Lauren Plant. All of our programming proudly presented by Lawrence Technological University. We've got highlights. We've got analysis. Boys basketball is what you want. Well, let's go.
I'm John Rawlings from the Evansville area. We begin with an SIAC matchup between Harrison and Bosse. First quarter, Xavier Burton tipping one away from Janai Summers, but the sophomore hustles back and gets the block. Warriors with momentum as Joyton Watson gets the transition layup. Harrison up by 1. Moments later, Bosse returns the favor. Houston commit Kieran Powell with the big block. Julian Norris finishes at the other end. Both teams trading punches early. Harrison back on the attack. Mason Bost to Terrence Ringo. Warriors draw within 1, but Bosse would pull away late. Matthew Wagner slashing into the lane. 13 points off the bench from the sophomore. Bosse wins 76-60. Coach Burkhart earns his 200th career victory. Staying in the SIAC, North heads over to Newburgh to take on Castle. Late first quarter, Tristan Fisher going to work down low. North up 5 after the first quarter. In the second, Castle striking from the perimeter. Jackson Mitchell to Zeke Niehaus, stroking one down from the land of 3. Then on the next night's possession, Mitchell decides to feed Cole Simmons. The night starting to heat up, but North was on fire. Cameron Decker to DeLavion Crenshaw. The triple try ringing true. North wins 63-56. As we move to the PAC, South Spencer has won back-to-back contests. The Rebels on the road to visit Southridge. First quarter, Garrett Vogel goes baseline, hangs and hits the deck, plus the foul. We're tied at 4s. Back come the Rebels, though. Jace Kelly over the top to Holton Compton. 15 points and 10 rebounds for his double-double. Back and forth we go. Now South Spencer jumps on the back of Michael Donahue. The junior rises up and drains the triple, and he's not done there. Under 2 in the corner, same spot, same exact result. Nothing but nylon. This one goes down to the wire. South Spencer hangs on 45-43. PAC also battles with the Big 8. Jasper putting their 3-game winning streak on the line against Pike Central. First quarter, Ethan Scott stops, pops, and drops. Pike Central draws first blood. Next time down, Jasper swings right back. Elliott Hope goes upstairs to Quentin Harmon. We are tied up in the early going. Later on, Jasper still living at the rack. Jackson Cabritt feeds Reese Day, who goes baseline for the bucket. Wildcats adding on, and they never looked back. Caleb Berger skips cross court to Isaac Day in the corner. Down the hatchet goes. Jasper wins 62-29.
I'm Chuck Pellerito, and we've got a good one to close out the regular season. Number 6, Crispus Attucks came in 18-4, looking to finish the season strong. They traveled to Carmel. The Greyhounds, number 15, before going into sectional play. The Tigers averaging almost 83 points a game, getting off to a fast start. Jalen Carson working the paint. He'll go up with a left hand off glass to put Attucks on the board. But the Greyhounds will reply right back. Pete Suter going to dish to the lone senior on senior night. Jackson Jansen drops one from behind the long line. Carmel led 19-10 after 1. Attucks turning the defense up to start the second. They get the steal, and Malik Tansmore going to finish with the two-handed lay-in, keeping the Tigers in striking range. But just before the half, Carmel would get the last word. Suter looking for an opening, and he'll make one himself with the ball fake and the drive. Greyhounds up 8 going into the intermission. Carmel would come out rejuvenated in the third and dominate. Charlie Williams with a great cut to the basket and the finish. Then, Jansen, working from distance, finds the bottom of the nylon. He led all scorers with 26 points, and with 25 points in the third, that put Carmel in control. Attucks fighting back in the fourth. The freshman Kushan Ware hits off iron, but Tyron Rogers is right there for the putback. But Carmel would prove to be too much. Suter would put the finishing touch on a 20-point night. He gets the steal, goes coast to coast, and drops the 3-ball. As the Greyhounds take out Crispus Attucks, 75-52, our final score.
Hi, this is Greg Rakestraw, and welcome to a solo flyer edition of our portion of State Champs Indiana Hangtime. Unfortunately, weather got in the way of Bob Stambazzi making it to our ISC Sports Network studios today, so you get to hear me opine in solo fashion for a couple of segments on the program. Now, as far as the highlights that are being talked about on the show today, I wanted to kind of give you some thoughts as to teams that have been impressing me with how they have been playing, and we'll do this all across the state. We'll start in the southwest portion of the state, and let's talk about Evansville-Bosse. Now, we talk about Evansville-Bosse a lot this time of year. Did not make it out of the sectional last year, but did knock off Heritage Hills in the opening game a year ago. And, of course, Bosse has made deep runs in the tournament the last few years, led by Mekhi Larry, who's now playing these days at Miami of Ohio. Well, Bosse has another high-end talent. His name is Kieran Powell. He's 6'10". He's going to play for the University of Houston. Now, Bosse still has the same impediment in their way in terms of playing Heritage Hills in the sectional. Those two will square off at some point in time, and the question really is, can Hills get past them? Heritage Hills did beat them by a score of 82-68 back on December the 10th. But last weekend, Bosse had a really big win against a Sullivan team, the champions of the Western Indiana Conference, and a potential sectional champ in Sectional 31. It's possible Bosse and Sullivan could both be in the same regional at the Hatchet House in Washington come March 14th. Again, the folks from Heritage Hills have other ideas. Frankly, the folks in Washington have other ideas because they're in the same sectional as Sullivan is too. But in terms of teams making a lengthy run out of the city of Evansville, Bosse is one you should watch for. Again, they're going to be the underdog this time around, which is something new for them. One other team I wanted to reference from the southwest part of the state is South Spencer. Tip of the cap to Matt Britton. First winning season for the Rebels in 4 years. Matt Britton has been a head coach previously. In fact, when he was last a head coach at Bloomfield, his alma mater, he took the Cardinals to the 1A state championship game where they were the runners-up to Liberty Christian in 2016. Again, South Spencer has a tough hill to climb in terms of teams in their sectional. Evansville Modern Day is the top team there, but South Spencer having a turnaround season in southwestern Indiana. Now, one team or one game that I wanted to mention that caught my attention on Tuesday night, regular season finale for the Carmel Greyhounds. They absolutely thumped a top 10 team in Crispus Attucks. Carmel won that game 75-52, and you can talk about the emotion of senior night. Carmel has one senior, Jackson Jansen, a key player, but these are the same sophomores and juniors that have been, by Carmel standards, taking their lumps. Again, they're still way over 500, but they were beaten by Warren Central by 8 on Friday night. They were beaten by Hamilton Southeastern, who I both think are top 10 teams. Hamilton Southeastern is ranked that way. Warren is just outside the top 10. To me, the story is the fact that Carmel scored 75. Not that they held Attucks to 52. Carmel does that to everybody. It is a race to 50, even against one of the better offensive teams in the state, like Crispus Attucks. The fact that Carmel scored 75 is really what caught my attention. Carmel, again, is a very young team, and this is a year in the northern half of 4A because Carmel is not what they have been, that maybe as many as 10 teams feel like they've got a shot to make a run to Bankers Life Fieldhouse come March 28th. Don't write the obituary for this Carmel team just yet, as proven by how they played against a very good Crispus Attucks team. And now if you're Attucks, you got to forget about that game completely. Why? Because you have the team that you beat for the city championship, Attucks is first since 1962, in double overtime fashion in late January. Because, yes, that's who Crispus Attucks drew in the opening round of the sectional at LC, part of this gargantuan doubleheader that I'll have the honor of calling on the ISC Sports Network. Attucks and Cathedral, followed by Lawrence North and Lawrence Central. In my next segment, I'll talk about some of the great Fort Wayne teams and how things are shaping up for them going into the postseason, other ridiculous postseason matchups across the state, and a couple of regular season games you should keep your attention on before we turn to the second season next Tuesday.
What's up, Indiana? Jenna Skelski here. Just letting you know that State Champs is committed to covering all high school sports. We have a brand new show dedicated to the girls' side of the hoops equation, as well as highlights in other sports such as swimming and wrestling. We call it the State Champs Winter Roundup, and it premieres every Friday at 5:30 p.m. Be sure to download our brand new State Champs app and check out our socials so you will never miss a minute.
I admit it, I love working with money, negotiating, and making big decisions. That's why I'm majoring in finance and economics at Lawrence Tech. What's truly amazing about the education here is the small class sizes that give me easy access to my professors who truly care about my future. They even helped me get a great internship. And I was able to fulfill my lifelong dream of playing college golf. Lawrence Tech, where Blue Devils dare.
We're the Carmel Greyhounds. Welcome back to State Champs Hangtime. Let's get back to the highlights.
I'm Glenn Marini from the Fort Wayne area. A lot of eyes on this rivalry game as Carroll at Homestead, 2 of the 4 teams tied for the Summit Athletic Conference lead heading into the final conference game of the season. First quarter, that was Zach Kruger for Homestead, but a few possessions later, Cody Berkey buries it for Carroll, and that puts the Chargers up by 6. Time winding down in the first quarter, a quarter that belonged to the Chargers. Ray Vollmer, the senior from downtown. Chargers led after one by 11 points. To the second quarter, Homestead down 10. The extra pass to Andrew Leeper, the sophomore, coming up with the big 12 points that cut the lead to single digits at the half. Out of halftime in the third, Luke Goody, the star junior for Homestead, he had 21. And his big cousin, Ben Skronik, who plays football at Notre Dame, liking what he sees. Still in the third, some good ball work by the Carroll Chargers. Ryan Preston to Sam Stricker. His jumper is good. He had 6 on the game as the big guy shows the range. Fourth quarter, it's Vollmer from deep again. He had 15 points. Chargers up by double digits, and Carroll just pouring it on. Zach Castador drains the deep ball. He had 9. Carroll wins it 61-53 over rival Homestead. Here's Carroll senior Ray Vollmer and head coach Marty Beasley.
Playing solid for 32 minutes. That's what we were talking about this whole week. I know they can hit shots. They're a good team. They're consistent. They play just like us, and coach is just telling us if we play hard for 32 minutes, we're going to come out to win. That's exactly what we did. We didn't forget the loss last year at home, and I felt like we took that, and it motivated us for this game.
I just think our guys they were focused, they were engaged for 32 minutes. We've talked for a while about just striving for 32 minutes, and we've not got there. We play 26, 28 minutes, and we somewhere in there 4 minutes, 6 minute mark, whatever, somewhere we kind of messed up. But tonight I think we're pretty solid the whole way through, and I think that their will to win is huge tonight.
With Carroll beating Homestead on Friday, Bishop Luers in control of its own destiny. A win over Northside, and the Knights would win the SAC title. Third quarter wouldn't come easy. That's Jerry Powers with the spin and in. Northside down 10, 41-31, but making a run. Nayland Thompson for Luers. You could make a case he is the MVP of the SAC. He gets the deuce, but Capone Daniels come the other way, and with a first name like Capone, you better believe he can shoot. That 3 would cut Luers' lead to just 6, but in the fourth quarter, the Knights stepping up when needed. Nayland Thompson nailing one from distance. Then check out the championship effort from Landon Moore on the deck to senior John Peterson as Luers wins 64-50. The Knights are your outright SAC champions. That after going 4-18 last season. Here's John Peterson and head coach Fonzo White of Luers.
It means a lot. We've been working hard, which is our main goal all season. We've been working hard. It's a great feeling. We just got to keep going, keep working hard. Don't get too cocky, just keep working hard.
It means a lot for me. It means a lot to the guys in the locker room. It means a lot to this program, that show that we got things moving in the right direction. Again, we were picked preseason 9th, and, here we are, SAC champions, and, we're just happy just to be competing every night and having the opportunity to play against great competition in this area.
Last season, Wabash won an outright conference title for the first time since 1946. A win at Whitko, and they'd clinch at least a share of the Three Rivers crown this season. That was Brett Sikafus, though, for Whitko with other ideas. He drained the 3 early as Whitko led, but Wabash counters. Jasper Walter in the corner for 3, and that knots the game in the early going. Wabash not done by any means. Jared Holly from basically the same spot. That gives Wabash a 10-point lead in the first quarter, 15-5. Then it's Caleb Kelsheimer to Elijah Vandervelden inside for 2. His dad played in the NBA. The 6'8" senior gives Wabash a 14-point lead. Clayton Ebbington hits here, but Wabash would win 71-48 to clinch at least a share of the TRC title. With a win over 9th-ranked Prairie Heights earlier in the week, 11th-ranked Central Noble in 2A hosting Fremont. Opening tip, you can't score faster than that. Connor Asesian good. Start of a 29-point night for the sophomore. More on that in a second. But Fremont, the aggressor early. Nick Miller had 3 of his 15 there. Central Noble, Miles Smith carving his way inside for 2. The senior had 11, but Logan Brace the other way. 12 points, 12 boards. Eagles up by 5, but Central Noble's got a fever, and the only prescription is more cowbell. or at least more Connor Essegian. He had 29 points that gave him 538 for the season. That's a new school record. Mike Young scored 537 from the 1976-77 season. That's a record that stood 43 years. And remember, Essegian's only a sophomore as Central Noble goes on to win 66-47. At the Castle in Ossian, Jay County battling Norwell. The Knights coming in ranked 4th in the latest 3A poll, and this is a way to get on the scoreboard. First bucket of the game, Will Geiger on the alley-oop slam for Norwell. The Knights off and running. Drew Fetterspiel with the layup as Norwell takes a 6-zip lead, and they weren't done. Luke McBride, the coach's kid, splashing it from distance as Norwell jumps out to a 9-zip lead. Jay County trying to counter. Noah Arbuckle would get the loose ball, puts it in. Jay County gets on the board, but Norwell led 33-4 at the half. The Knights go on to win 52-22. They improve to 19-1 on the season.
Lauren Plant here to tell you that Lawrence Technological University offers 27 sports. Track and field and even men's volleyball, just some of the newest offerings. There is nothing quite like the feeling of being a college athlete. I know you dreamed about it. Well, check this out. If you go over to LTUathletics.com, click the Be Recruited tab on the homepage. Fill out the questionnaire for your sport, and the incredible coaching staff here will get it. Recruit yourself. You can even intern with the State Champs Sports Network team while you're living the dream and getting one of the best education out there. It begins at LTUathletics.com.
Once again, Greg Rakestraw. It is State Champs Indiana Hangtime. No Bob Stambazzi. Weather got in the way of his arrival today, so you're stuck hearing me pontificate and sermonize, if you will, another 5 or 6 minutes on the show. We talked about some teams that have caught my attention in southwestern Indiana, a game that got my attention in central Indiana on Tuesday night. I want to give a little bit of love to some teams in northeast Indiana, namely Fonzo White's team from Fort Wayne Bishop Lures. Lures has obviously had some basketball success in the recent past. A guy like Deshaun Thomas, who was Mr. Basketball 10 years ago, that is one of 4 players in the history of the state of Indiana to score over 3,000 points, catches your attention, and his jerseys are prominently featured on the wall at Bishop Lures. But Lures has not been a statewide basketball factor, and I'm not sure they will be this year. But they don't have to be to have made this a good season. Last year was a rebuilding campaign in Fonzo's first year. This year, Lures goes 7-2 in the Summit Athletic Conference. And this is a good year for Fort Wayne basketball. There may not be a player the level of Caleb Swanigan or a team the level of Homestead that won the 4A championship some 5 years ago. But speaking of Homestead, they're a really solid team. And Marty Hensley's team at Carroll is outstanding. And Snyder, they've won 16 games as well. So it's not exactly like Lures is playing a bunch of chumps or that Fort Wayne is down. Far from it. But one of the things that we talk about with the Lures of the world, the modern days of the world, when they are smaller schools playing in a larger conference, talk about this more in football maybe than basketball, but how ready it gets them come tournament time. I do think that pays off for Lures here. Now they'll see a couple of teams they know like Dwenger and Canterbury when they go to their sectional. But if Lures can make it to the regional, again, they're battle-tested, and they're ready to go. So congratulations to Fonzo White and the guys at Lures, again, for winning that Summit Athletic Conference Championship. They wrapped it up last Friday night with a victory against Fort Wayne Northside. Again, Carroll and Homestead, solid teams. Let's go a little bit outside of Fort Wayne, and a team that Lures could run into in Norwell. They're a team that is absolutely tenacious when it comes to how they guard you. Only twice has Norwell given up 60 points over the course of a season. They've only lost one time heading to the final week of the season. So again, Norwell is a team you should keep your eye out for when it comes to 3A basketball. Now, 2 more games I want to get to before we get to a brief look at some of the best matchups in the opening round of sectional play next week. 2 games that we'll have on the day job for me at the ISC Sports Network that should catch your attention really from a statewide perspective. On Thursday night, 2 top 10 teams meet. In fact, 2 champions of really the 2 biggest leagues in Central Indiana. The MIC champions in Lawrence North, they share that title with Lawrence Central, but LN has beaten LC both times they played. Of course, they'll have the 3rd edition of their trilogy of the year coming up Wednesday night at Lawrence Central in the sectional opener. Well, Lawrence North will have their senior night where they hope to be a successful send-off for the guy they believe is Mr. Basketball, and Tony Perkins is going to play at Iowa. They will take on Hamilton Southeastern. And HSE has won just 1 sectional in the last 8 years because of the dominance of Carmel in that sectional. Again, HSE beat Carmel 2 weeks ago. This is a great, again, kind of primer for these 2 teams to face each other before they go into sectional play. HSE, the champions of the Hoosier Crossroads Conference, and they've got 7'2" Cleveland State-bound Mabor Majah. And they've got other talented players that go around him as well. If HSE and LN were to meet again after Thursday, it's a good sign for both teams. If they go in opposite halves of the bracket, HSE goes north, LN goes south. It is possible they have a state championship meeting in boys basketball. Happened in girls basketball last year. Again, that's Thursday night. And then I will be at Danville and Avon on Friday. That is a great Hendricks County rivalry. Danville has lost just twice this year, but both to a larger school in their own county, that being Plainfield. So Danville and Avon meet. And again, I'll have that game on the ISC Sports Network on Friday night. This Danville team, number 2 in 3A. Avon trying to get ready. They were a sectional champ a year ago. Brownsburg is the heavy favorite in their sectional this year. But this Avon team is solid. And again, they will give Danville a great test and great preparation heading into postseason play. Those are games to kind of look out for before we get you to the postseason. And again, if there's one night that you want to pay attention to, one set of games to pay attention to, I'm honored to have the call on this one. Simply put, rematch of the city championship, Attucks and Cathedral, followed by a rematch of the Marion County championship, LC and LN. Potentially 1, if not 2, top 10 teams can be sent out on the second night of the tournament when those teams play in double-header fashion next Wednesday at Lawrence Central. If you don't have your ticket by now, you may not get it. Again, you can see that on the ISC Sports Network. Hopefully the Baz is back by me next week because we will recap the first 2 nights of sectional play and get you ready for semifinals and finals the next time we are with you on State Champs Indiana Hangtime. Lauren, back to you.
As always, I want to thank Greg and Bob for doing what they do. Hey, if you like what you see, please download the free State Champs app on either iOS or Android. Follow, like, subscribe, and share all of our State Champs Indiana content on all social media platforms. Till next time, I'm Lauren Plant. Thanks for watching this State Champs Sports Network production.
State Champs Hangtime is presented by Lawrence Technological University, where Blue Devils dare. Also in partnership with the Indiana High School Athletic Association.